Today's episode of the Bill Simmons Podcast, third of the week, brought to you by SeatGeek, our presenting sponsor, the easiest way to shop for the best tickets thanks to their revolutionary grading system. You can buy and sell tickets in just 2 taps on your phone, which is very important because right now my listeners get $10 off baseball tickets the first time they use SeatGeek. All you have to do is use promo code BSMLB. Download the SeatGeek app today or go right to SeatGeek. We're also brought to you by our friends at Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Rocket Mortgage gives you the confidence you need when it comes to buying a home or refinancing your existing home. It's simple. It allows you to fully understand all the details and be confident you're getting the right mortgage for you. In addition to getting a real mortgage approval, in minutes, you can even adjust the rate and length of your loan in real time to make sure you're getting the right solution for you. Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Apply simply, understand fully. Mortgage confidently. To get started, go to rocketmortgage.com/Bill Simmons. Equal housing lender, licensed in all 50 states. NMLS, consumeraccess.org, number 3030. We're brought to you by Against All Odds with Cousin Sal. I went on that podcast this week. If you want to hear us talk about NBA draft props, his crazy friend Harry, a story about how we almost got our old executive producer Daniel Kellison fired at a Red Sox game against the Angels in 2003, and a whole bunch of stuff. So it's a rollicking podcast. Me and the cuz, we hadn't been together in a while, so it was a fun one. Subscribe to that one, and don't forget to check out theringer.com. We have every conceivable aspect of everything that's happened in the NBA this week covered, including our awesome Ringer NBA Draft Guide. We're going to have 2 of the people who wrote that guide, Kevin O'Connor and Jonathan Tjarks, coming up. But first, our friends from Pearl Jam. All right, the Ringers, Kevin O'Connor is in the house. We're calling Jonathan Tjarks in a little bit on the phone. We're going to do a little mock draft for the lottery, but first I want to talk about a bunch of NBA stuff. I didn't think we'd do 4 podcasts this week, but the NBA is moving so fast that, here we go. There's been multiple trades. There's rumors of more trades. I don't know what the hell's going to happen. If stuff happens as we're taping this, it's 10:45.
It's possible. I got
Pacific time.
TweetDeck's open.
Yeah, TweetDeck's open.
Yeah. We need a Spark Notes version of everything that's happened or might happen.
Right.
It's crazy.
The first most interesting thing that happened was that Brooklyn Lakers trade, which had a lot of ramifications, which have been covered in detail in a lot of different places. But I really like Brooklyn. I like the mindset of getting an asset and taking on a bad contract, which for whatever reason took them a year to figure out that that's how they should be handling things. They're finally doing that. Russell, I think, is a great gamble at age 21. I think he was in the Jarks wrote about it today. He was in the worst possible situation. Year 1, he's with Kobe. It's Kobe farewell tour. He doesn't have the ball at all. Has the crazy Nick Young thing happen. Year 2, they're tanking, and then they just quit on him. And if you're Brooklyn, that's the kind of asset you want. You have the number 2 pick 2 years removed. NBA history says you always want to acquire a top 4 pick before they're 25. This is the best way to get somebody. It's Chris Webber. It's Chauncey Billups. You can go on down the line. This has happened 20 times in the last 25 years. Did you like the trade for them?
Absolutely, 100%, Bill. I think D'Angelo Russell, he's a reclamation project in the sense that he came from a poor situation, like you mentioned, with Kobe Bryant during his rookie season, and then they just gave up on him. But he still has had good production. I wrote an article last year for The Ringer, and it was basically outlined like how good he was when Kobe was off the floor. When he had the opportunity to actually be a point guard instead of Kobe's farewell tour. He did extremely well. And then obviously the stuff happened with Nick Young, all that happened. So this is like a reset for him. And I think the Nets are going to feed him opportunity, and that's going to be great for his development. And like people have given up on him a little bit. People calling him a bust even last season during his rookie year.
That's idiotic.
It's ridiculous.
He's too young.
Totally ridiculous.
Plus, this situation, just give him a team, let him make all his mistakes.
Absolutely.
He's somebody that needs the ball in his hands.
Work through it. Like when I wrote an article on point guards, like every all-star point guard says like early opportunity was so important for them to go through their mistakes. And like, you look at the point guards in today's NBA, most of them never made their first all-NBA team until they were like an average age of like 25. And Russell's only 21. Really young.
I don't know what kind of offense you could build around him, but you could build an offense around his talents and his decision-making. It's conceivable, and it's better than anything they had. They get rid of Brook Lopez last year of his deal. I do think people slept on that trade for the Lakers a little bit because I think Brook Lopez is a good NBA center.
Totally.
Watching him the last 2 years because the Celtics had their pick and he screwed up a lot of potential losses and he gets hot. He has 3-point range. Like, he's an asset.
How did he extend his range all of a sudden?
I know.
Out of nowhere. It's
out of nowhere.
He's good too.
And he can hold his hands up in front of the rim.
Yeah, he's improved a great deal.
I'm not positive why they had to also give up the 27th pick in the trade because that was so much Mozgov money.
The price for dumping bad contracts is up, and that's because the cap is flattening. I mean, like, it's not going to have drastic increases like we've had the last 2
but
years.
if the price is up, why did the Nets have to give up a pick? That's what I didn't understand.
Well, I mean, I think it's because Russell's really good. Russell's a really good player, but I think for the Lakers, they had to give up Russell. I think that's really the big deal here. Is like giving up Russell to give up a contract because the 27th pick could get a solid player, but at the same time, I just think I think the team giving up a hell of a lot here is the Lakers, gambling on giving up on Russell. But obviously it's worth it because of the potential ramifications of opening up cap space for next summer. But just the price for opening up cap space, I think that has kind of been set where you might have to give up a top player if the contract has 3-4 years left on it like it does.
I think they gave up too much. So there's a couple things with Lopez. One is he's an expiring contract, which I haven't seen people really make a big deal out of, but you're not just getting somebody who's pretty good, you're also getting somebody that in February, if you need a giant expiring contract to go get an asset, that's now they have that. They didn't have that before, right? This is why the Celtics did the Amir Johnson contract. This is why they did Tyler Zeller.
The non-guaranteed.
Yeah, they want the flexibility of that bigger number, and this is like the biggest number you get. $22 million. Conceivably, they could put him and Julius Randle. Like, all of a sudden, you can get like $40 million in contracts back.
Yeah.
So that was good for them.
Well, that's the interesting part is like just for the last couple of years, it hasn't been as important to have that. But now
it's important again because the cap went back.
I think people will need to adjust. Like, I think we're in a way we got used to like the big money handed out last year with Evan Turner, Mozgov. But now I don't know if there's going to be as much money out there for those middle tier guys or even below middle players.
So I did some recon on this. The cap went backwards, and for a couple reasons. One, they did that deal with the retired NBA players with the pension. Initially, they were expecting it was going to be like $108 million this year. Now it's 101, but it might actually be lower than that because of all the playoff games that didn't happen. So every time there's a playoff game, more money went in the pot. And because the Warriors basically only played 17 playoff games instead of usually they might play 25, 26. There was only 5 finals games. The Cavs series, those ended early. There just weren't enough playoff games. And now they're thinking the cap might be 100 or maybe even like 99.5, which if you're the Celtics this week.
Or the Spurs if you want Paul.
Right. Yeah. But if you're the Celtics this week and you have a chance to, let's say, trade for Jimmy Butler, and you're trying to figure out, all right, we'll give up Crowder and the Tyler Zeller contract that can be waived for Butler. We're adding $10 million. This puts us here. But now we don't know if that cap's going back $2-3 million. Now the Gordon Hayward offer that we thought we were going to be able to offer him that's actually $3, $4, $5 million lower than we thought we were going to offer. Now we might not get him. And it's thrown a wrinkle into not just the Celtics, but I think a lot of teams' plans. Little cap chicanery.
It'll be I'll be very interested to see where that number does land because I get the sense too like it might not even be 101 for all the reasons you stated.
It might be like 99,
and that could be,
which is massive.
That's a big difference. I mean, every dollar matters for those teams that are really rubbing right up against the cap in order to fit in, the players that they want to chase. So like, granted, it does lower the max cap number. So like, because the way that's calculated against the 101 million. But still, I mean, that could be problematic for those teams with big plans this summer, like the Celtics, like the Spurs, or whoever else is out there.
But it also makes the expiring contracts, they're valuable again now.
Yeah.
Because
especially when you have assets to package with them.
Yeah. And they weren't valuable, now they are. And I think we're going to look back at last summer, arguably some of the dumbest things we've ever seen in the league since like the 1980s. Like the Lakers, they had to give up the number 2 pick in the draft just to undo one of their 2 horrible mistakes from last summer. Like, that's a catastrophe. It's a flat-out catastrophe. They just picked this guy. He's 21 years old. You do such a bad job last summer, and moves that made no sense when they happened. So they're signing Mozgov and Deng, and it's like, where are you going? Why are you doing this?
Right to the middle.
Why? The best thing you have is cap space. They're just so poorly run, but it's not just them. It's Joakim Noah and the Knicks. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's Evan Turner and all the stuff Portland. I think Portland's the next logical team to basically use their picks to get rid of a salary.
The good thing for them is they have 3 first-round draft picks this year. If they want to package one of those with Evan Turner or whoever it might be, Alan Crabb for that matter, they can do it.
Yeah.
But even then, they still have 2 big deals up there with Crabb and Turner. And I mean, I like Crabb, but he hasn't really met my expectations personally. And
no, they're going to have to trade one of them, and
they gotta.
The Nets tried to sign Crabb, so they'd probably be happy to take him. But
that could be interesting.
But yeah, if you give them what are the 3 Portland picks?
That would be another interesting spot for the Nets to really get another pick. Because my big thing with them and why the Russell deal is so good is besides the fact I think Russell's going to be a great player, but the fact is that those are the type of moves they need to make where it's a forward-thinking move. Take on cap. Don't worry about that. You're not going to be signing anybody necessarily, and if you do want to sign somebody, it's probably going to be a restricted free agent. So I don't think it changes anything for them in the free agent landscape. And so for the Nets, I want them to take more shots in this year's draft.
So how about this one? I got one for you.
Okay.
They have the 22nd pick. Chicago is the 16th pick. Mm-hmm. You flip picks with Chicago. You also get pick 38. You get Bobby Portis. And for your troubles, you're taking Dwayne Wade. We're taking him off your cap. We'll take his $25 million.
I'm sure Wade would be super happy about that.
Well,
who cares?
Guess what?
Matter.
Retire. Yeah. You don't like it? Here, we're sending you paychecks, and you get Dwayne Wade. You sell some Dwayne Wade jerseys for 4 months, and you buy him out.
I don't know if I'd take $24 million of Wade just to move up 6 spots, though.
I get Portis, and I get the number 38.
Okay. I feel like I'd be pretty happy at 22. I like that spot for somebody to fall, whether it's like Harry Giles or OG Anunoby.
But we're talking about taking shots.
Yeah.
How many,
how much of a shot is Bobby Portis, though? I mean, I like Bobby, but
you have to spend the money anyway, is my point.
Yeah.
So if you have to spend the money.
How about this? After restricted free agency, maybe you do that. I think you got to try it out in the restricted free agency
that's
market.
Fair.
See what's out there, But
they did that last year and they whiffed.
And lost out. Yeah, but maybe this year you don't. Maybe you end up with Contavious Caldwell-Pope or somebody else. I'm not a big KCP fan, but a lot of people are.
I am not a big KCP fan. The other guys that are out there that you could basically, you could go take the Detroit riffraff. Mm-hmm. They're not riffraff, but you could take Drummond and Reggie Jackson together. Just be like, we'll take them off. We'll take both. Send them our way.
Van Gundy might like to hit the reset button.
There's one other team that needs to create caps. Oh, Cleveland. So would you take? I don't know what the problem is. Cleveland has no more assets to give, but Amon Shumpert is somebody that
Jetty Osman. That's my guy. Drafting stash. Jetty Osman's gonna be good. I like him. I don't know when I say good, I don't mean really really good, but he'll be a good quality role player.
So if you're the Nets, would you take Shumpert and Osman just to help them out with their cap?
Shumpert has $10.3 million this year, and then a player option for $11 next year.
Yeah.
How many spots am I moving up, or am I just getting Jetty
That's
Osman?
It. See, that's probably not enough.
Yeah,
right?
I don't think that's enough.
What does Memphis have where Memphis could be like, here's Chandler Parsons' contract, and if you take this, we'll also give you this, and this.
I don't think they have anything.
They have first-round pick.
I don't think they have any super high pick to give them.
Yeah, they don't.
Future years.
They're screwed on that one.
That's another one of those deals where, I think they were desperate to take a swing at a guy.
Yep.
Chandler Parsons had theoretical potential, but with all those injuries, come on.
How about Phoenix Brandon Knight?
How many years he has left?
A couple.
I don't think he's that much of a high cap.
The most emotionally scarring trade of this decade.
Oh my goodness!
All Milwaukee had to do was not take MCW and get that pick.
Though?
Which one?
What is Phoenix giving a dumb night?
Marquise Chris?
Nah. I'd love to have Marquise Chris. I don't think they're going to give him the dumb night, though. That's way too much for Phoenix. Chris is going to be good.
All right. I guess Brooklyn's screwed. There's no other move for Brooklyn. This is it. This is their only.
Well, I'd retain Cap. They already took the one guy on.
Okay.
So retain Cap and see what happens with restricted free agency. Who knows? They have some good things going. With the Russell trade, we'll see how the draft goes for them. I know they're probably the franchise you would least want to be, but at the same time, they have some good momentum, I think.
Yeah, they're
as much as you could
one.
have considering their situation.
We're going to talk to Kevin Clark later and find out if he would flip spots with. He's a Magic fan. How many teams he would flip spots with? My guess is somewhere between 27 and 28.
Yeah.
But the other big trade that happened yesterday, Dwight Howard.
Whew,
So I looked at this. I tried to figure out how many teams have quit on Dwight Howard, and here's the final list. 2008 Team USA. They all hated him. That's why he didn't get invited back. The 2012 Magic, and you could arguably throw in the 11 Magic too, even though he almost had an MVP caliber year that year, but he was a little icy behind the scenes. 2013 Lakers, 2016 Rockets, 2017 Hawks. It's 5 teams have quit on Dwight Howard.
Sad.
And yet I kind of like the trade for Charlotte. Let's bring the Dwight Bowler virus to Charlotte.
Why do you like it for Charlotte?
Because they got rid of Plumlee's contract, which is an abomination.
Yeah, no, that's the funny thing.
It's really horrible.
Plumlee's contract is worse than Dwight's. That's the irony here.
I don't even understand. And then they got a better pick out of it too, which I didn't understand. Atlanta was just desperate to get rid of Dwight.
Hey, I'll tell you what. Atlanta is example A of a team that probably maybe should have blown it up. I mean, you look at what's happened. When you think 2 years ago, or whatever year it was, when like they were shopping Al Horford, or not shopping Al Horford, but they were at least listening to offers, and the demand was like, I think from the Celtics it was a Nets pick. I don't know what it was from other teams, but that year might have been the time to actually do it before they dumped Korver, before they might lose Millsap this summer, before they lost Horford. Before they signed Dwight. I mean, they've made a lot of mistakes the past couple of years. When just a couple of years ago, they were a 60-win team. 60 wins. I mean, people were talking about them as the East Spurs. Yeah. And now look at them. It's like, it's sad in a way because that team had a lot of upside, and that 19-win streak was a lot of fun a couple of years back.
Could Washington dump Jan Mahimny on Brooklyn? Because that's another one. Because they need money to sign Porter.
Yeah. That contract
that's a pretty bad one. That's like 48.
We're going to look back at this. It's kind of the opposite of 4 or 5 years ago when players were signing deals like for 4 years, $32 million, and it's like, is this too much? It's like, no. The cap's going to go up. This is a bargain.
Yeah.
And now it's the opposite. We're going to be looking back and saying, what were these teams thinking in some of this?
So we've been on the NBA Slack just coming up with fake trades left and right, all of us. Porzingis seemed like he was available yesterday for about 3 hours, and that it started a healthy Porzingis Booker who says no kind of situation, which I really enjoyed. Fun. I love that stuff more than anything. But it was, I suggested Porzingis and the 8 for Booker and the 4, and then everybody argued about it. It's a pretty good one. I really like Devin Booker. Here's my thing with Porzingis, and I hesitate to say this as a Celtics fan is hoping that we get him. What's the list of guys with 25-foot range who can actually protect the rim in a finals game? It's basically him, Draymond Green, and Kevin Durant.
There's not many.
Those are the 3 guys. Towns in 3 years, maybe if he's trained,
gonna improve defensively.
Right,
I mean, that's the key. With
maybe.
Him. Yeah.
But Porzingis, I know. On one end he can shoot threes, and the other end he can stand in front of the rim, put his hands up, and challenge plays. I would not trade Porzingis.
I wouldn't either. I think it's interesting that these rumors have even popped up in a way. I wonder, I mean, like I said in the Slack channel, like, hey, maybe the Knicks are doing this. Like, I'm just playing devil's advocate. I wouldn't trade Zinger, but the injury history in the last 2 years, he had a left leg injury pre-draft.
Yeah.
He had an ankle injury, a thigh injury, an Achilles injury. Then he had a shoulder injury that ended his rookie season. That's a lot of
big-ass dude
for a guy who had pre-draft injury concerns with a potential of having a fragile body with his, unusual frame. So, like, that's where I wonder if maybe the Knicks are like, hey, we do have some concerns here. We're at least going to listen. And obviously, reportedly, the demand has been quite high, as it should be, because he's a remarkable talent. But I just wonder if maybe that's something that they are thinking about internally that we aren't really talking about as much on the outside. But I'm just speculating here.
What's the most the Celtics should give up for Porzingis? Because right now, I'd put the 3 in the Lakers Kings pick, done. I'd send that along. You could even talk me into throwing like the Memphis pick too.
So you would rather give up that than like wait for a potential bigger fish, or would you rather have Porzingis over a Paul George or a Jimmy Butler?
I would rather. To me, it's like Porzingis. Well, I'd rank it this way: Giannis, Towns, Porzingis, Jokic.
This is some good bigs. There's a lot of good bigs in the NBA now.
Yeah. I think those 4 are like, if any of those 4 are on the table, you just go. Giannis is probably the most untouchable guy in the league right now.
Yeah.
But
more than LeBron.
Yeah. I don't think there's. If I did the trade value again this summer, I think Giannis would have to be first.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
If New Orleans called Milwaukee and said, we'll give you Anthony Davis straight up for Giannis, Milwaukee hangs up and laughs at them and says no.
I think they would, especially when you consider Davis's injury history.
Yeah, and his contract.
The nagging stuff, and the money.
Giannis, I think they signed him to a pretty fair, it was like 4 for $100. Pretty fair contract for
really.
Plus, I was talking to my friend Hershey about this yesterday. Could Giannis be a rim protector?
And small ball lineups, 100%.
Could he be basically Draymond on the defensive end and then offensively run your team? I feel like he could.
I think Giannis could, and I think that's where we're going to see a lot of teams go when they have those types of players. I mean, the Bucks could do it with Thon Maker too.
Yeah,
they can do it with Giannis. I mean, there's other guys this year that I would like to see them draft that maybe they can do it with. I just think that's going to be one thing teams try to replicate with Golden State, because you can't play like Golden State necessarily, but at least you can try to model their personnel to play against them. So I think the Bucks are one team where they're structured where they can do that, especially with Giannis at the 5, and that could be an exciting thing down the line.
If you're a free agent, wouldn't you look at Milwaukee over a team like you, the usual suspects, where it's the Clippers and Houston? It's like I would look at Milwaukee. I'd want to be on Giannis's team.
If we're talking strictly basketball, yes. But
we're trying to win a title.
Oh, no doubt. If that's my priority as a player, I would want to go to Milwaukee.
Like, why would Chris Paul want to go to Houston? There was a thing today about Houston's trying to get this guy and that guy, and it's like, why would Chris Paul want to go to play with James Harden? Both of them need the ball all the time. That's a disaster.
That would be a really interesting dynamic to see. Like when I did read that, I was thinking, like, how would Paul and Harden work?
Interesting. Is it a train wreck?
Yeah, those are two ball dominant guys who, throughout their entire career, besides when Harden was young, but in their primes, they didn't really have to.
I would say those are two of the 3 most ball dominant guys,
and they should be because of their style of play. Like, that's not a knock. We're not saying they're ball hogs. It's like you want them to have the ball in their hands, but. Yeah, that would be really odd, and I wonder how much of that is just smoke, and really, it's just like, hey, look at this shiny object. We're actually targeting this guy over here.
Daryl loves to do that. That's a Daryl move. We're looking at this guy and that guy.
We want CP3.
All these guys.
Watch out, Clippers. Give him a no trade clause.
Quick break to talk about our longtime buddies at Simply Safe. Getting a good night's sleep. Easier said than done. Did you get a good night's sleep last night?
It was all right.
East Coast to West Coast? That always kind of screws you up?
I know.
Did you get up early?
Jet lag doesn't exist, but the pillows weren't great.
Bad pillows. Well, it's even worse when you think you heard noise downstairs. What do? Do you go downstairs? Do you just lock the door? Well, with Simply Safe, you don't have to worry about it, because you know your home and family are protected when you install your Simply Safe home security system. You're arming your home with powerful sensors that actually tell you if a door opens or if one of your windows breaks. When you move to LA, we'll have to get you Simply Safe to be like, we're making you move to LA. We're making KOC move to LA. There's a 105 decibel siren that alerts you at the first sign of trouble. They also have a dedicated team of security professionals watching you 24/7, ready to send the police. And with Simply Safe, no long-term contracts, around the clock monitoring, only $14.99 per month. Don't spend another night second-guessing your home safety. Get Simply Safe. Get some rest. Go to simplysafebs.com. Get a special 10% discount when you order today. That's Simply Safe with 2 I's. simplysafebs.com for 10% off your order. What do the Celtics do?
Stay at 3.
And take Tatum.
Draft Jason Tatum. That's what they're going to do. And then I think retain max cap space or close to it. I mean, try to create it and go for either Blake or Gordon Hayward.
I have a message for Josh Jackson.
Okay.
You can go straight to hell.
Oh.
Go straight to hell, Josh Jackson.
It's not
You're not going to work
Jackson,
out for us? Good luck with your terrible career.
It's not Jackson.
Go ahead.
Though.
Who has the 4th pick?
Phoenix.
Oh, good luck in Phoenix.
Yeah. Or Sacramento.
You go. Oh, yeah. Good luck in Sacramento, Josh Jackson. How dare you don't work out for my favorite team?
He's from California. He's from San Diego. So close enough to Sac.
I'm all in on Tatum, though.
I'm glad.
You know why? Because I just... Here's the thing. My dad's going to be 70 this year. The thought of him calling me at 10:30 at night East Coast time after going to another game where Marcus Smart and Josh Jackson went 3 for 23 combined, and him complaining and making jokes about how the ball boys needed protective helmets and we need to reinforce the backboard. I'm just not in the mood for it. Yeah. Just give me a guy who could score. I think Tatum's going to be really good. Even Tate begrudgingly admits that.
Is that why you like Malik Monk? Because he can stroke threes?
Malik Monk would be my dream would be for them to turn 3 into 5 and 10 and then take Monk at I'm going to pronounce his name correctly at some point in my life. Yeah. Take Monk at 5 would be my dream. And then somebody's going to fall to 10. One of these dudes. Somebody's going to screw up.
In our mark today, we're going to talk about this, but a guard is probably going to fall, I think. And somebody good's going to fall in that 10 spot. That's why if I'm the Kings, I'm staying. And I'm staying there.
Stay at 5 and 10.
And even then, if you're the Kings,
stay.
And like, I know, like we're probably gonna talk about this later, but I would be thinking about not drafting Fox at 5 because then you can get that guard in 10. You can get Nilikina or Dennis Smith at 10, and then get Jackson at 5, maybe something like that, or Isaac at 5. I don't know. But
so if you don't draft Fox at 5 and you take Isaac, you're banking on Dennis Smith, Monk, or Fox falling down, or Frankie Smokes.
Yep, or Nilikina. Yep, one of those guys. I feel like one of them's going to be there. I'd be surprised.
That sounds too smart for the Kings. They're just going to take Fox. I think Fox has a chance to be one of the most magnetic personalities in the league.
He's unbelievable.
The guy is so like polished and likable and charismatic. Who needs that more than the Kings?
Fan. He's got hair just like Vegeta.
Yeah. Who needs charisma more than the Kings?
I think Coach Cal brought up a good point at the NBA Combine that Fox doesn't attack the rim to dunk like John Wall does, and he's like, that's one thing I'd like to see Fox change. I'd like to see him turn into a guy who attacks to dunk, right? And that's kind of the difference between those guys. I think John Wall like attacks and he wants to kill you at the rim. Fox,
I can't wait till he dunks on Josh Jackson, that traitor. Wouldn't work out in Boston. I don't want to be on the fourth best team in the league.
Don't be mad at Jackson. Be mad at
his agents
for rightfully wanting him to be in a situation where he could get early playing time. I would want to play for a winner too, but I can understand that point of view that you want your client to get heavy playing time and heavy opportunity.
Well, if his agents really think that way, they're jackasses, because you want your client in the best possible situation on a very good team getting big time reps right away versus being in like Sacramento.
Yeah, if you're in the finals and you're making big plays, if you're like Andre Iguodala light for a finals team, you're going to get paid big time.
Yeah,
because the team's going to see you and they're going to think, put this guy in this situation he's in where he's playing 25 minutes and we're going to give him 35 minutes a game. It's going to happen anyway.
It worked out as a disaster for Kawhi Leonard. Yeah. If only he hadn't ended up on such a good team, that guy could have made something
disaster.
of himself. Yeah,
it's all man. Situation plays such a big part of its success. If only Kawhi didn't end up with the Spurs.
You get leadership and great coaching, and you get big game reps when you're 22. Oh man,
what a shame.
Too bad. Poor Kawhi.
What he could have been.
Josh Jackson would be getting those lottery reps. Josh Jackson, you need new agents. Is Charks on the line?
Yes.
No, I know Wasserman's my friend. He's been on the BS podcast before. He owns the Wasserman agency. I'm very upset with him that he hasn't intervened on this Josh Jackson thing. At least come work out. Come work out. What's your excuse for not working out?
Yeah, I mean,
you're joining. You're becoming a professional. Work out for all the people. Try to impress them.
I read today there might have been a timing issue after the trade.
Oh, please.
I don't know if that's just an excuse or what, but yeah. If I'm Jackson and if I had a chance to work for the team that was the number 1 pick and they have a chance to be in the Eastern Conference Finals, I'd want to work out with them.
You know what story I loved? My man Jaylen Brown. Guess who's going to Summer League this year?
Jaylen's a gamer.
Guess who told the Celtics, I'm going to Summer League. You can tell me you don't want me to go, like whatever, but I'm going. I want to play. I want to be the best. I want to go. I want the challenge. Compare that to my son Ben Simmons, who's not going to Summer League. He's played 29 games in 2 years. He doesn't need Summer League? Doesn't need to play some full court competition? What's going on with him?
I'd want him in plastic bubble wrap.
Great.
So I wouldn't want him. I wouldn't want Ben Simmons playing in Summer League either.
Well, at some point, he's got to play basketball.
Yeah, he'll play in the preseason. He'll be there.
Well, we had technical difficulties. Could not get our friend Charks on there, but Ringer NBA show at some point this week. You'll do something. I don't know what happened.
We're doing something after the draft. So
great.
It'll be the high upside edition of the NBA draft.
Great. You think Josh Jackson will work out for the podcast or no?
No, he's not going to work out for us. We already tried to get him. He's not working out for us.
His schedule doesn't work out? What else is he doing this week?
He's busy. He's in New York. We tried to get him out to L.A. He's not able to make it out.
I hope the Celtics take him anyway.
And then flip him?
No, just take him and then be like, yeah, look at that. Who won now? Yeah, you're on our team. You can't play in the NBA unless it's for us.
But then your dad's going to be calling you talking about how they need to start drafting people that can shoot. They need. It's going to be annoyed every night, Bill.
Could he be
draft Tatum?
Josh Jackson can't be Kawhi?
I mean, like, is there a 0.1% chance? Sure. But he's going to need to fall into a situation.
Is there a 10% chance?
No, definitely not. It's really hard to become Kawhi.
What was the chance that Kawhi was going to be Kawhi in 2011?
I mean, he landed.
It was a 0% chance.
That's the thing. It's like if you put Jackson on the Spurs, where he's Chip England, the best shooting coach in the world, one of the best shooting specialist coaches in any sport, then I'd increase from 0.1%. But if he lands on a team like the Celtics that doesn't have a shooting coach, a shooting specialist, then I think those chances are very low. That's where situation plays such a huge factor in success.
What about you draft Josh Jackson and then you make a Godfather offer to Chip England? How much could he be making?
How much money?
What do you think he makes? Like $500,000 a year? $1 million?
I'm pretty sure there was a report last year that I think the Warriors tried to get him. Some team tried to get Chip England.
What if somebody offered him like $10 million a year?
I forget who it was.
Is it worth it? If you turn Josh Jackson into Kawhi Leonard, that's worth it.
It's worth it, 100%. It's a great investment. I think he might be probably the most underpaid person in sports, and we don't even know what his salary is.
Mike Zarin tweeted today, the Celtics assistant GM, about how stupid it is that the draft is before free agency.
It is.
So you're on that bandwagon too.
I am, 100%.
So like this week, like free agency could be Friday.
Yep.
We do all the things, and then teams have the draft.
I just think it would be better that way. I think it would be better for the teams in terms of personnel and decision making. I mean, I know there's an argument against it, but I just feel like it allows them to make more flexible decisions and allow them to really know what their roster is going to look like before they add those young players. Whereas, so like if you let's say take Zarin, if they were to sign Hayward, right? Maybe they.
What do you mean if? When they sign Hayward.
When they sign.
Or he's a traitor too.
He might be. Might go to Miami. But if you do that, then I think maybe that you adjust what your expectations are in the draft, and that goes for every team down the line.
Can Hayward and Tatum, do they make sense together on the same team?
I don't think you can have enough forwards in today's league. I think you put all those guys on the floor at once. You're playing small, or even you're playing big. Really, you could be playing big with one of those guys taking on ball handling responsibilities too. I think that could be a really good path for any team to think about, is having a bunch of 6'7" to 6'9" guys on the floor at the same time.
I've heard this. I've heard a couple people tell me this in the league, that they feel like this is where the NBA is going. These interchangeable guys who can handle the ball and shoot on one end, and on the other end can just switch on everything.
It's happening already, really.
Yeah.
We're seeing it happen.
Yeah.
I mean, we mentioned the Bucks earlier. They're one team that's kind of doing it. So, I mean, the people. That's the way you're going to need to defend the Warriors for the next 3 years, and I think that's the way it's going to look beyond too.
Okay, we're going to do a mock draft. Me and Kevin's mock draft lottery is sponsored by Hotel Tonight. If you're like me and you're not so great at planning ahead, I've got good news for you. There's an awesome app called Hotel Tonight that helps you find amazing hotel deals at the last minute, kind of like these lottery deals that we're going to find for these teams. Unlike flights, hotel rates usually get cheaper at the last minute. You know that, Kevin?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's true.
Hotel Tonight helps hotels sell their unsold rooms, allowing them to pass those deals along to you, and you don't even have to take Timothy Mazzo's contract. You can just get the deal right. Get the full deal. Not for last resort places either. Cool, top-rated hotels. Hotel Tonight has over 15,000 awesome partner hotels in 36 countries. Perfect for a spontaneous getaway or a staycation that you've wanted for a while. I did Sal's podcast yesterday, and we just went on the app, and we're looking at rooms in Vegas, trying to decide whether we just wanted to immediately go to Vegas and stay in a suite. They had great rooms. Even though the app's name is Hotel Tonight, you can book up to a week in advance. All it takes is 10 seconds, just 3 taps and a swipe. Get in on these killer last-minute deals. Download the Hotel Tonight app right now. We are dedicating this mock draft lottery to Jonathan Sharks and his weird phone connection that his phone just doesn't ever want him to be on my podcast. I don't know, or my phone or somebody's phone. We can't figure it out. All right, mock draft. Markelle Fultz to the Sixers.
100%.
Not even fun.
Yeah. Yep.
I wish that there was like a late Lonzo might go to the Sixers. They should work him out last minute.
Yeah.
Be so much more fun.
Fly him in tomorrow morning.
Yeah, we just want to get a quick look at him.
Work him out at a high school gym in New York, right?
Why not?
A couple hours before the draft.
Come on.
Just do your due diligence, Philly.
Fultz, Embiid, and Simmons is what?
It's going to be really good for a really long time if Embiid stays healthy. If Joel Embiid stays healthy. He's really the big part of that, I think. I mean, I think he is the cornerstone. He's the generational talent. He's the potential Hall of Famer. He's a level above Fultz and Ben Simmons, in my opinion, as a prospect. I think Fultz and Simmons, I would have them rated similarly as Simmons last year. I think maybe Simmons would be 1 this year, but maybe not. But Embiid is that guy. He's the cornerstone. He's the potential Hall of Famer. So if he stays healthy, they're going to do amazing things.
Do you think he should change his name to if Joel Embiid stays healthy?
I think people need to start calling him JoJo again, like they did at Kansas.
JoJo, I like that.
That was his nickname.
That still is his nickname.
Yeah, and nobody calls him it. It's always Joel. I love the process. Great nickname, but JoJo. JoJo's a really good nickname for Joel Embiid.
He's played 27 games in 3 years. Is that right?
Joel?
32 games in 3 years?
31 last year.
31 games in 3 years?
31 games last year for Joel.
Ben Simmons has played 29 games in 2 years?
0 last year.
Right, that's what I mean. LSU 29.
Yeah, so not a lot. These guys haven't played
They
a lot of
played
basketball.
60 games combined.
And Joel Embiid started playing basketball late in his life, too. That's the remarkable thing about him. At only 23, he's already as good as he is. He's late. Didn't play until organized ball until he was like 16 or 17.
I really like a lot of the players on Philly, and I hope all those guys stay healthy because I would enjoy watching them all play basketball.
It'd be great
together.
for basketball.
Yeah, it'd be great.
To see a team. I mean, how often has there been that much elite talent put together at this young age? I mean,
Did you buy the whole thing that Fultz, there's some personality questions with him, like he's too passive, all that stuff?
Definitely. An executive said to me last year that some guys come in at 19, they have the maturity of a 22-year-old.
Yeah.
And some come in at 19 and they have the maturity of a 16-year-old. Fultz isn't the 22-year-old. I don't think he's 16 either in terms of maturity, but he's definitely not as far ahead in the maturity scale, at least from people I talked to. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, like if you're a certain team and you want a certain type of player, you might prefer the mature player because everything factors in. Personality, the deep dives teams do into these guys' backgrounds, health. We had the talks last week about how
the knees
they needed to see Fultz's medical reports. Everything matters besides what happens on the court. Teams look at literally everything, including maturity, and I think Fultz will be fine.
Do you think Tate is Tate a 24-year-old who acts like a 27-year-old or a 21-year-old? What would be your take?
Tate acts a little bit older, I think. Tate's good.
Yeah, all right. Good job, Tate.
I don't live here in LA, though, so I don't see Tate every day. But
good job. We're proud. We're all proud of you, Tate. All right, second pick, Lakers.
Lonzo.
The question for us is, if they trade D'Angelo Russell before the draft, that means they're all in on Lonzo. And, of course, they trade D'Angelo Russell before the draft.
Forgot our answer.
Yeah.
Should it be the answer, though? Should it be Lonzo?
Yes.
I agree.
So I was driving to work yesterday, and for the first time, it dawned on me that the Celtics passed on Lonzo Ball, and there's a chance he might be this generational offensive player who's just incredibly fun to watch.
It's all the intangibles in the world.
And there's and people are going to be like, oh my, it's going to be like a Steph Curry thing where people go, oh my God, how did anybody pass on him? This guy's amazing. He's contagious. His passing, you can build this whole offense around him. He's everything you want in the modern NBA.
Makes guys better.
All he does is just take a B- and turn it into an A-. And God, can you believe the Celtics traded down and didn't take him?
Did you see
I got really scared. I broke into cold sweats.
Did you see what Larry Bird said about him? Larry Bird was on Bob Ryan's Boston podcast a couple months back, and he was talking about Lonzo Ball at a time he probably wasn't supposed to be talking about Lonzo Ball, and he said, and I'm reading the quote right here, that's what's contagious. Guys moving the ball, getting the ball out of your hands quick and getting it back. Watching him play, he's not afraid to deliver it. He's a very talented player. Just a little quote. Larry Bird,
the legend. That was what he was all about.
He had just gotten done raving about how LeBron, his favorite thing about LeBron is how he just moves the ball constantly. Yeah. He gets the ball and he moves it quickly, and that's what Lonzo Ball does at the highest level. He's an elite passer, just makes guys better.
It's a bummer if he becomes on the Lakers. A guy that
destiny.
The Celtics stupidly passed on.
It's destiny.
So here's the flip side of this.
Destiny. LeVar planned it.
If it's LeBron and Paul George, and then
Lonzo.
Boogie Cousins, and you're building the super team that's supposed to compete right away, that's the worst thing that could happen to Lonzo. Lonzo's best case scenario would have been.
Are we sure though? Are we sure that's worst case? I mean,
well, I do think he has the ability to fit in with a team.
I buy it when LeVar and Lonzo say all they care about is winning. I kind of buy it. I really do.
No, I'm saying that. I wish, to me, the most fun team would have been Phoenix for him. Him and Devin Booker, and just really these wings that can run and jump, and there's no pressure the first 2 years. Give Lonzo the car keys. Booker does his thing, and they're just going, and they're building something.
I think Lonzo would be the perfect point guard for LeBron. just a guy who perfectly complements him and just
moves
gets
the
ball
ball
out quickly.
Well, Lonzo and LeBron is the high. That's a pretty high ceiling.
And he can hit spot up threes. I mean, he's got the funky mechanics, and I have concerns about him off the dribble, but he can hit spot up threes.
Is there anyone whose mechanics you're not concerned about? Malik Monk?
Yeah, Monk, I'm not concerned about. I'm just scrolling down the list.
We should start calling you the mechanic.
Yeah.
You're always trying to fix mechanics.
There's not a lot of guys.
Tate, what do you think of that? We call KOC the mechanic.
I like it.
All right. Put him like...
Only when I'm talking about shooting mechanics.
So Lonzo's the right pick, and I would say there's a 30% chance the Celtic fans are going to be really bitter. 70% chance they won't be. But 30% chance.
It's always nice to have someone that you love to hate, though.
Lonzo?
Lonzo and LeVar and the whole BBB.
With that said,
brand.
Him and Isaiah made no sense. They would if they take Lonzo, they would have had to trade Isaiah, I think.
If Isaiah weren't there, I think Lonzo would be theoretically a perfect fit for a Brad Stevens run offense.
100% agree.
If Isaiah weren't there right now.
They made their bet on Isaiah by passing on Fultz and Lonzo. Don't you feel that way?
Yeah.
They're basically saying, stop with the trade Isaiah stuff. We're not trading him.
I mean, what does Stevens talk about all the time? He talks about ball movement, crisp passing. He wants the ball moving side to side. That's what Lonzo does best. It wouldn't surprise me, like every executive in the league and every coach has different boards. It wouldn't surprise me if Brad had Lonzo 1 or 2, maybe even 1 ahead of everybody. Just based off the things that he talks about that he likes.
Biggest winner for Lonzo to Lakers, Brandon Ingram.
LeVar Ball.
Well, other than, on the Lakers.
He planned it out ever since before Lonzo was born.
But I think this could have a dramatic impact on Brandon Ingram's career, life, upside, ceiling,
absolutely
everything.
I think Ingram, one of the really nice things about him, and the reason why I had him ranked 1 last year ahead of Simmons, is because he's not just a scorer either. Like, he's a really good pick and roll ball handler.
Yeah.
Smooth, makes good passes. So now the Lakers have 2 guys in Ingram and Ball who can handle the rock. They can both hit spot up threes. I know Ingram's percentage was down, but projecting ahead, I think he'll be fine. They can run a really dynamic offense with multiple guys.
They don't need LeBron. Tell him, screw off.
Who needs LeBron?
I don't need LeBron.
Go to the Clippers.
He's 34. 16 years under his belt. Get that guy out of here.
Yeah. Prime is never going to end for LeBron.
Overrated. Third pick, Celtics. We think they're keeping it at this point.
It sure seems like that.
I think the Jimmy Butler trade's there at the end of July if they want it. I don't think they need to do it now. I wouldn't do it now.
What do you make of the reports that Jimmy Butler said he wants to stay, though, and not go to Cleveland? Do you think that's just a Cleveland thing? Because that's what I've heard. That's just a Cleveland thing.
I wouldn't want to go to Cleveland, would you?
No.
We might blow this thing up in a year.
Yeah. I think that's probably the reason why. I tweeted yesterday that, Jimmy Butler doesn't want to go to super team, but I think it's more like that. He just doesn't want to go to Cleveland. That's the vibe I get.
We both think Jason Tatum here.
I'm glad you're coming around to Tatum, Bill.
I'm not coming around in the sense that I would still rather have the number 1 pick than the number 3 pick. But I'm having a lot of Lonzo regrets. I'll work through it.
I mean, I have Tatum ranked ahead of Lonzo.
Yeah.
I just think
so. Tatum is best case scenario. He's Paul Pierce 2.0.
Pierce, Granger type of player.
Yeah.
I'm not
healthy. Danny Granger, Paul Pierce.
Yeah, something like that. Just go-to scorer, guy you lean on, score at the end of the shot clock. I think Tatum's going to be really good. Bill, his feel at just 19, fluidity, footwork, working with his trainer Drew Hanlon. Like, he is so far ahead of the curve at his stage. And then I mentioned earlier with the maturity, Tatum is like just high character kid. Everything you hear about him, people rave about him, just how good of a kid he is and how hard he works. And those intangibles matter a hell of a lot.
So Celts, Horford and Zizic is coming over, who you love.
Yeah, I like Zizic.
Where does Zizic go in this draft?
Maybe 14, 15, but it's hard to tell with some of these bigs. Like there's like a big cluster of bigs that are going to be at the middle to the end of the first round. Okay. And so like it would depend so much on how teams evaluate those individual players. So he'd be, in my opinion, a little bit ahead of some of those guys, but it wouldn't surprise me if a lot of people had him right in that cluster.
All right, so think of it this way. If they added Hayward and they picked Jason Tatum, Hayward gets all the Jay Crowder minutes. Sign me up. Sign me up right now.
You probably have to trade Jay. I think
that's easy. He makes $8 million and he's got 1 year left on his deal. So just flip.
Oh, he's got I think 3. Jay Crowder.
I thought he was done either next year or the year after.
Jay Crowder has 3 years left. He'll be making $7.8 million.
Does he really?
3 years left.
Oh, that's a huge asset for somebody.
Well, that's what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
if I'm another team, I'm thinking, oh, Jay Crowder's only going to be making $7.8 million 3 years from now.
That's what like a ninth man makes, and he could actually start.
That's what he might be.
Wow. Well, that on the Celtics, I think on a 58-win team,
but
he's a ninth man.
on a good team, like he'd
and the
be
Knicks,
a
he
terrific
could start.
starter. Hell yeah. And put it this way, like Jay's defense was a hell of a lot better, I think, 2 years ago. And I don't really know what happened there, but that was the biggest value for him was his defense and his versatility, and that's regressed a little bit. Maybe it's situation.
A little bit. Guys just
lot.
went by him.
Yeah. He gets flat-footed.
I would say he's pretty much an average defensive player now. Guys were just going by him left and right.
He was awesome.
He was awesome when he got here. Mm-hmm. I thought he was better last year. I thought he played with a chip on his shoulder. But, man, like, you'd at least, if you're going to be like an elite swingman defender, I'm not saying you have to stop LeBron and Durant and all these guys, but at least make them sweat, make them wear it. He didn't those guys just abused him.
I think it's kind of aligned with his increased offensive role. As that has increased, his defense has declined.
Yeah.
I
anyway,
have hope for him, though.
So flip Crowder for Hayward. And then give Jason Tatum
Crowder for assets.
No, I'm just saying, like, just on the roster. Hayward takes Crowder's spot. Tatum takes the Jerebko spot, basically, or whoever, like that person at the Jerebko, like all those hodgepodge guys they bring, James Young, all these guys, and he's just playing
Jimmy
25
Buckets.
minutes off the bench, and you could actually run plays for him, and he could shoot threes, and that the team's just better.
Definitely.
And then Zizic instead of Amir Johnson.
Yes, who can't move anymore.
Right.
Can't rebounds like a guard, and Zizic rebounds incredibly well. So
Why does everybody think Josh Jackson, they rave about the competitiveness, what a monster he is, what a two-way, it's been that way for the last 5 years.
It's true. It's the truth.
So isn't that the kind of guy the Celtics pick?
It is. But at the same time, I just think Tatum's just a better overall player. Better prospect, better scorer, more refined shooter. I think Tatum is far ahead in a lot of different categories despite being 13 months younger. Whereas Jackson, like the problem with his jump shot, like it's really scary. I know he shot 38% from three last year.
Scary, like you were frightened?
I'm frightened. I'm terrified.
Like simply safe level frightened?
Yes,
okay.
Absolutely, 100%. And that's the concern with Jackson.
Okay.
If that shot doesn't translate to the NBA, it limits everything else for him on the offensive end, and then he's just a defensive guy. One of my buddies, friends of sports psychology company, Eric Weiss, said to me that Tatum is like a poor man's Kobe. Josh Jackson is like a poor man's Sean Marion. And that's kind of the way I look at it. I don't necessarily agree with those comparisons.
Sean Marion's a good one.
Yeah, but
I like that for him.
Yeah, but I think that kind of puts into perspective like what the player could be. So like if Jackson's shot is just awful, Sean Marion turned into a pretty solid shooter. There's some concern there long term with him. He needs to overhaul his mechanics. I don't think he has great touch. He's a poor free throw shooter. There's a lot of red flags there with his jumper, and we know how important shooting is in today's NBA. Like Andre Roberson, Thunder, maybe one of the best perimeter defenders in basketball, but even he's a liability on the offensive end. And I think you need two-way players to win titles in today's NBA. You need two-way talent.
So with all that said, Josh Jackson is still a nice pick for the Suns at 4.
He's still a really good prospect. Like there's no denying it.
For the Suns, that's a great one.
I mean, I have him ranked 6th on my personal board. I like Jackson. Don't love him because of his defense. I mean, he's an incredible defender.
So would you take him at who do the Suns take it for?
I have Jackson going 4. I'm not totally confident in that. Like I'm really interested.
Would you be shocked by De'Aaron Fox there?
I wouldn't be shocked by honestly anything. They're working out Zach Collins on a 1-on-0 workout today from a center. So it's like
be careful, Phoenix.
Nothing would shock me because like some of those teams, it's like Jackson. As much as I like him, I can't get over the concern with the jumper. So that I want him to go to a team that has a good shooting coach, and not a lot of teams actually have shooting coaches. Like Orlando has a shooting coach. Like I said, he's not going to the Spurs. It would sure as hell would be nice if he did. Right. But not everybody has a Chip England.
The mechanic is worried about Josh Jackson. I think there's an outside shot that it feels too easy, the top 4. Something weird is going to happen.
Could always be a trade, too.
If I had to bet on anything weird, I would bet on Phoenix surprising us and taking Fox. I wouldn't if I were them. I would take Jackson. But
we had Fox there for the last mock, and on the update we switched to Jackson. But I think Fox would be a really nice fit next to Booker. Those guys could play off each other nicely. But we have Jackson there now.
He makes sense. So they would have Booker, turn Eric Bledsoe into something.
Mm-hmm.
Jackson, Ulis, who turned out to be a nice little bench player for them. All these, the two guys from last year, Bender and Chris. Alex Lynn we're giving up on?
Kind of, yeah. I mean,
Chandler.
Maybe give him take a flyer on him, but
Chandler, probably a trade. Maybe you try to flip him for DeAndre Jordan at this point.
That would be cool.
TJ Warren.
Let's
tape it. Would you trade Eric Bledsoe and Tyson Chandler for DeAndre Jordan?
Yeah.
If you're Phoenix?
Yeah.
Would you do it if you're the Clippers?
No, I wouldn't.
Okay.
No. If I'm the Clippers, I'm trading DJ to get assets to flip for Paul George. That's what I'm wanting to do. I'm not trading DeAndre Jordan just for that, for an old center and Bledsoe.
Can we all agree that DeAndre Jordan is not worth the 4th pick and Tyson Chandler, and that was the dumbest rumor of the week?
Are we sure that he's not, though? I mean, I don't.
You would trade the 4th pick for DeAndre Jordan?
I wouldn't, but like, what is his worth? What is his
not
value?
the 4th pick?
So, like, what pick would you give for DeAndre this year? Like, what's the highest you would go?
Somewhere between 10 and 15.
Really?
Yeah. I'm not convinced he can play in crunch time of an NBA Finals game.
Yeah. So I guess it depends on your goals. If your goals are put together a title team, then I would agree with you. But if you're a team that might just want to get into the playoffs and have an elite rim runner, a tremendous defender, then maybe it's like something you do because you know what you're getting there. But if the goal is to put together a championship team, no matter how long it takes, then you don't do that.
What about Minnesota at 7? Put him in Towns together. I still feel like that's too much.
I don't love the fit.
Yeah,
I don't love the fit there.
All right, so we both think Josh Jackson at 4.
Yes.
I think Fox to the Kings at 5. You think that they should take somebody else and try to get a point guard at 10.
Well, yeah. So I have Fox there in the mock draft, but it's not what I would do.
Not what you would do.
Not what I would do. I mean, I would want Jackson there. If he were to fall, I would be thinking about Jonathan Isaac at that spot. If I'm the Kings, I would be thinking about Tatum if he falls. I'd be thinking about Monk there, but at the same time, like Dennis Smith could be waiting there for you with a 10th pick. Frank Ntilikina could be waiting there at 10. One of those guards, even Monk, could be there at 10. So if you take one of the forwards at 5, you could get the best of both worlds. And that's where I'm thinking for the Kings. As good as Fox is, I like a lot of those other guards as well that could be there at the 10 spot.
Let's play it out. Let's say they take Isaac at 5.
Okay.
Let's just play out the next picks quickly. Orlando's at 6. Do they then just jump at Fox? Or do they take Dennis Smith?
Or they have an Elfrid Payton nightmares.
Right, that's the thing. They've taken a bunch of guys who couldn't shoot. Like, do you just keep doing that? I think Fox will become a good shooter. I have faith that he'll just be in the gym all day, every day until he starts making
I like the
them.
Mike Conley comparison for him.
The Mike Conley crossed with John Wall.
Yeah. At the same time, I mean, again, like that's a concern long term with his jumper. Didn't look great in the workout.
I guess
video.
we can't play it out. There's too many variables.
There's hundreds of variables there, but
I also think a front office could get enamored with Malik Monk, and just say this guy's the next Ray Allen.
Yeah.
Let's take him.
Yeah, and he could be.
And he's like a Steph Curry, just all-time heat check guy.
People talk about Monk's like shooting ability, shooting, but like oftentimes like the weird thing is like he's an elite athlete too.
Yeah,
that guy can jump.
I was impressed by his D.
Yeah, I mean, I think his defense is inconsistent, but
I know,
the
but
potential is there.
The rap on him was that he was horrendous defensively, and then you watch it, it's like, he's fine. He's got long arms.
He can move when he's mentally engaged. That's the key. Is like I put him in a situation where he's forced to defend to get minutes, then I think he'll be good.
He was playing hard on D in the tournament. No, I didn't see like the random SEC games in December when he was probably mailing it in.
Yeah, it's a mixed bag with Monk. I mean, you'll see games where he's really grinding on them, and then you'll see games where he's just totally losing focus. Not really paying attention as much off ball. That's really the issue. I think is the off ball defense with Monk, and that's off ball defense is just as important. I think about how much ball movement matters. Like with the Warriors, for example, they run a pick and roll on one side of the floor, but then there's a weak side action. That defense matters there just as much as what's happening on the ball.
I hope he goes to Orlando at 6.
I like that for them.
Because I think, even though he's not a point guard, I think you can run an offense with him. And maybe, with one of those point guards that could handle the ball but also play off the ball, but you're just running a lot of stuff through Monk.
That's a team.
I think that could work.
That's the type of team I would want to build in today's league, where you have multiple ball handlers, and that's where a lot of teams are going. But I think Monk certainly can do that. But I've heard some things that he almost prefers being a 2-guard. So that's a variable there. That's just the role he.
Are we sure the Celtics aren't going to take him?
I don't think so.
Would you bet your life on it?
Yeah, I'd bet my life on it. I bet my life on I'm not going to bet my life on Tatum, but I'll bet my life it's not Monk.
Tate's dangling from a tractor. I always do that. I got to improve the bet your life thing.
Yeah.
Tate's dangling from a tractor, and he's being pulled drawn and quartered in 2 different directions. Would you bet his life on Monk? Not going to the Celtics at 3?
It's not going to be Monk.
Tate, you're fine. Nothing's going to happen to you. Oh, wait, we got to talk about Carvana. Remember the last time you bought a car? Was it a good experience? I bet not. Going to the dealership, hanging with the salesperson. Sucks. Last time I leased a car, it took me 5 hours, and I was just leasing it. My whole Saturday was shot. Well, there's some good news. I just learned about Carvana. You heard about Carvana?
No, I haven't. Tell
it's
me
the
about
nation's leading online car company. They're ready for you when you move to LA.
Okay,
we just go to Carvana.
You have to get a new car?
Get this, you can buy a car online from over 7,000 certified company-owned cars, then have it delivered to you as soon as the next day, or you can pick it up at the world's first coin-operated car vending machine. A car vending machine.
It's unreal.
I don't even know what that looks like.
These days.
Every car comes with a 7-day return policy. See if the car fits your life, return it for a refund. If it doesn't, better than a 15-minute test drive, right? Well, Carvana doesn't have all those salespeople, so you don't have to pay for them either. That means serious savings. Skip the dealership, buy a car online. Check out Carvana.com/BS to learn more. That is CARVANA.com/BS. It's the new way to buy a car. Amazing. We can buy cars online now. Where's this all going? Pretty soon we'll be able to just buy NBA lottery picks online.
I was talking to somebody yesterday about that. We live in people's houses, Airbnb. We go in their cars with Uber and Lyft. It's unreal world.
That's it. We'll be able to make draft picks for the Celtics. Yeah. So, 6th pick, you have who going to the Magic?
I have Jonathan Isaac going to the Magic again. Okay. Probably not the pick I would make, but I think that's probably the direction they're going to go. It fits their MO. Look at what Milwaukee did with all the big, long players, versatile. Jonathan Isaac fits that bill to a T. And if Charks were here, he would be saying how Isaac is, he has him ranked 4th, I believe, or top 3 or something like that.
The Celtics have him high too.
He's really good.
He's like taller. Andrei Kirilenko 2.0, basically.
Yep, that's one of the comps we have on there. Yeah. Courtesy of somebody who tweeted us with that, because that's a good one.
It's a really good one.
That's a really good comp. Think about Kirilenko in today's league. He'd probably be one of the best role players, best high-end role players in today's league. And if Isaac reaches his peak, he'll be like a non-traditional superstar. That's the phrase one executive used to me, and I feel like it makes sense if Isaac reaches his peak. The question is the offensive end of the floor, and that's my hang-up with him.
Could he play a 5?
Yeah, he could play
small ball 5, rim protector guy.
Yeah. Charks wrote a good article on that. About how Isaac is the best center in the draft, even though he's not a center.
Right, there is no such thing as a center anymore. Kevin Durant's a center now.
I wish position labels could just be erased, but we have to use them for context and defining players. But really, positions don't really exist anymore in the league. Every player just fills roles. So Isaac can fill the role of rim protector in certain lineups because he's an elite.
Should just call that position rim.
Yeah, that's what it should be.
Ball, rim, wing.
Yes, ball handler, passer,
ball shoot, wing, rim,
spot up, spacer, things like that. And
spacer.
Isaac's a terrific rebounder for his position. Terrific, versatile defender. There's a lot to love with him.
I like him too. At 7, Minnesota marketing keeps getting tied here. He's my least favorite pick of the top 10. I don't know what he is. He's a very good shooter, I guess. great at it as a rebound or defend. I don't know where you play him.
I think it was maybe 2 months ago or something. I was on the pod with you around the trade deadline. We were talking about marketing, and I think I was supposed to make the case for him. And when I talked about him, I ended up making a case against him in the sense that this guy Lauri Markkanen is an elite shooter at 7 feet, but the thing is 7 foot is just a number. I mean, if you look at how he rebounds like he's 6'5". You look at the way he defends, he doesn't defend like a 7-footer. So you can say he's a 7-footer who shoots threes, but he doesn't play like a 7-footer who shoots threes. He plays like a wing who shoots threes, and that's typical. So I think there's a chance.
So what is that?
I don't know. I think if his offense reaches its peak, he could become a really, really, really good scorer. That's why we have Dirk as one of the comps for him. But there's also a chance that he just ends up being a Channing Frye. I
apologize to Dirk.
It could just be a Channing. He could just be Channing Frye, and I don't want to draft a guy.
Channing Frye didn't play in the finals.
Exactly. Because Lauri Markkanen could have the issue where he can't defend well enough, can't rebound well enough, and he doesn't do enough on the offensive floor, period, besides spot-up shoot. So I think Lauri needs to really reach his peak offensively because I worry about everything else with him. There's a lot of Kelly Olynyk to him, too.
I think Minnesota takes Monk at 7.
How come?
Because he's a gamer. He's a shooter. He's has the potential to be electric. He could space the floor for them. I think you could play him and Wiggins together, as weird as that sounds. Worst case scenario is a 6-man off the bench for a couple years, heat check guy. Then you figure out what you have.
Does he make Levine expendable?
That's the thing. They played better when Levine got hurt.
Yeah, I'm not a Levine guy at all.
I'm not either. I don't understand what does he bring to the table. He's terrible defensively, right? Mm-hmm. Not a lights out shooter, great athlete, but I don't know. There's been a lot of guys like that over there. If you're telling me, especially now when everybody goes smaller, right? Now Chris Dunn? Is there any chance he becomes good?
Yeah, there's a chance.
I mean, but for now, Rubio's there.
Yeah. Yep.
So you got Rubio, you have Andrew Wiggins, you have Monk, you have Towns.
It's a nice core.
And then you have who would be the other rebounder on there?
Gorgie Zhang.
Yeah, whoever.
Yeah.
But you have those 4. I'm going to have a good offense. Mm-hmm. And I'm not going to be able to get totally torched on defense if I play those 3 guys together. I don't know. I would take Monk.
I think with Levine, I had him ranked 26th in my 2014 draft guide, which is too low. That was a mistake to have him that low because he's still turned into a quality player. But at the same time, a lot of his weaknesses, defense, passing ability, just besides the fact that he's an athlete who can shoot, there's not a lot else there. So I'd be looking to flip him if I'm the Wolves. But the problem
unfortunately got hurt.
The injury that diminishes.
On the other hand, that if I'm Brooklyn, I'll be like, okay, we'll take him.
Yeah, why
not? What do you want?
Take a flyer on him.
Yeah. Here, we'll give you something.
Player still on a rookie deal. He's only got the 1 year guaranteed left, and then he becomes restricted.
Yeah.
So good opportunity there if a team didn't want to take a shot at him.
I think it would be the most fun if they took Monk other than the Knicks. The Knicks are the all-time most fun destination for him just because I think him and MSG.
Any player, it's the most fun destination.
Him and MSG.
It would be
and
exciting.
With Porzingis and just the possible double heat check and all the good things that could happen with that.
There are 2 guys. I think there's some logic to this. Goes for every team, like the Suns with Booker at 4. There's some logic to getting guys who are a little streaky. If both those guys get hot at the same time, you were gonna rack up buckets. And Porzingis and Monk are 2 players.
It's like the Durant Curry is the ultimate of that. Yeah,
exactly. There's I think that's something I'd be kind of angling for. I think Morey talked about this. I think I forget which show it was or if it was with an interview, but talked about how his team in the playoffs, if all those guys get clicking, they can score enough points. Higher variance, you might have some bad performances like Houston did, but if you've reached the peak and you get hot, that's when you get upsets.
All right, Tate, mark this down. 11:52 a.m., June 21st, 2017. I'm going on the record. Been waiting to do this until the day before. I think Malik Monk's going to be great. I feel very similar to him, maybe not as high of a ceiling as I felt like Curry had in 2009, where I just felt like Curry was going to be great. I just couldn't believe when teams were passing on him. This draft is better, and it's harder to get mad at teams for passing on him. I just think the guy's going to be great. And the parallels here of 2009, Curry going right before the Knicks, and the Timberwolves, if they took Monk right before the Knicks, I just can't stop staring at it. I think the guy's going to be awesome. If anything, Fox had the ball so much, I don't think we really totally saw what Monk could do. And I think you put him on a team like Minnesota, I think he'd be unleashed. I'm all in. I think the guy's special. I don't think that means he should be the number one pick in the draft, but I think he's a guy that as we drift down this draft 5 years from now, we're going to go, wow, he went 7th or he went 8th.
Well, this was the argument for trading down.
Right.
When I wrote that trade down article, is that there's 9 guys, really, maybe 9 guys where you could say, it wouldn't be totally surprising if he becomes the best player in the draft. If you tell me Dennis Smith is going to be the best player and he gets drafted 10th, I'm not going to be stunned. I think there's 9 guys this year where you can make a legitimate argument, and Monk is one of them. I have him ranked 8th on my personal board, which I think is fair.
Yeah, I agree.
Where would you have him ranked? Like if you had a personal board put together, would it be like 4-ish, something like behind?
Well, I think he's another guy who depends. It depends on the situation. I just think his game is just perfect for the NBA. It's just perfect. It's exactly what you want as a guy who is a lights-out shooter.
That's
who
the
can
hard
make
thing
any
with
type of
rankings.
shot. He can make off-balance shots. He drives to the rim. He's got that weird swoop layup.
Yeah.
He's got floaters.
He can dunk it too.
He can dunk. He's a good athlete.
He can yam it when he has space.
And he played in big games last year.
Yeah,
I like the way he played.
I like Monk a lot. He's a gamer. I think he's somebody who. I mean, when I look at my rankings, my biggest difficulty is that 4 to 8 range.
Yeah.
I have Fox 4, Isaac 5, Jackson 6, Smith 7, and then Monk 8. That range, like, I have my greatest difficulty in putting those guys in order because so much of it depends on situation. Like, for certain teams, Monk might be higher. For others, it might be lower.
Well,
It's a tough spot.
If the Celtics went 3 for 5 and 10 and threw in like next year's their own pick next year and
a player,
whatever,
like
yeah,
Marcus Smart, whatever,
and they took Monk at 5, I would be adamant. I would be delighted. And then they grabbed somebody else at 10, but like that to me, I think it's in play that 7 years from now, he's as good or better than Fultz.
Sure.
I think it's in play. I'm not saying it'll happen.
Look,
I think it's conceivable.
Look, anybody who would argue against that, I think, is falling too in love with the player. And number one, Fultz is a tremendous prospect, and he's going to be a really good player.
Like, it wasn't conceivable that Marquise Chris is going to be better than Ben Simmons.
Sure.
When you're talking about like
Yeah.
1 to 8 in last year's draft, Ben Simmons
Yes.
was clearly better. It would have been a miracle for Marquise Chris to be better than him.
Well, that's why this year's draft is so unique. I mean,
That's why we love it.
That's what we talked about, 98, 99 type of draft. There's a lot of potential all-stars in the lottery.
Like Russell Westbrook, he went 4th, which was high.
Yeah.
And I loved him that year. He was my big sleeper, and then he actually climbed the top 10. He wasn't a sleeper anymore. And then he went 4th. It was like, wow, I liked him. I didn't know if I liked him 4th. Now, Derrick Rose, I think, went 1st. To me at the time, I would have obviously bet on Derrick Rose becoming a better player. It wasn't inconceivable that Westbrook was going to end up being better than him because his sophomore year, he was like electric.
Yeah.
I think Monk's at least in play for that. All right, so the Knicks, if Monk's on the board and they don't take him, I actually think there might be a riot. If he's off the board, would you see them taking Dennis Smith or Markkanen?
Better not be marketing. I'm.
That feels so Phil Jackson.
I would go Dennis Smith, but it's going to be fascinating to see what they do. Like, they're working out Donovan Mitchell, point guard from Louisville.
Yeah.
Luke Kennard's get some noise
Oh, my
there at
God.
the 8th spot. I feel like they're going to surprise some people. If like Monk's not there, I'm not convinced it'll be marketing. I don't know how much of that was just noise attached to the Porzingis rumors or what, but. Man, I mean, I have a feeling like there's always a surprise every year. That could be the spot. The Knicks at 8.
If you're the Kings and you take Kevin O'Connor's advice and you draft Isaac 5th, and then it goes down and Dennis Smith is still there at 8, do you call the Knicks and say, we'll flip 8 and 10 for you? We'll give you Cauley Stein
I like
and something else?
I wouldn't want to trade Cauley Stein.
Would you do Cauley Stein and 10 for 8 if Dennis Smith was there? You just keep Cauley Stein
what's
and
the
roll the
alternative?
dice?
What's the alternative? Like, who's at 10? Like Nilikina? Or no, I wouldn't do that. No, I wouldn't.
Okay.
And the reason why I wouldn't is because I'm super high on Donovan Mitchell. So I would just want him at 10.
So you feel like he is the 10th best player in this draft?
I have him ranked 10th, yes.
Okay. So Knicks, your prediction is?
I have Monk in the
I don't think he's going to be there.
draft.
It's too the Knicks. It's too good to be true
So
for the Knicks
if
fans.
he's not there, they're going to stun people.
I don't think Markkanen goes 7th.
Mitchell.
Why would
like
Markkanen
that.
go 7th? I don't understand that. I don't understand. Every draft he's 7th, and it's like, what evidence do we have that he's going to go 7th? None of us think he's the 7th best player in the draft. Why is he going to go 7th?
I mean, some people think he's the 7th player
Who?
there. I mean, you could look around the internet. There's some outlets that have
I don't
him
agree
ranked
with you people.
top 10. We're the odd duck that has him, like, all three of us have him outside the top 10. Me, Charks, and Danny Chow. All three of us have him
You
outside.
guys are smart. That's why you work for the Ringer. Number 9 is Dallas.
I'm very, very interested to see what they do.
They love to get cute, that Dallas team.
Yeah, I got filthy Frank Ntilikina going there right now. But at the same time, I think Dennis Smith would be really, really intriguing for them. And, kind of speak for Charks here. Like, his argument is Dennis Smith is a significantly better fit for their pick and roll offense. Do they run a lot of high pick and roll? Dennis Smith is a downhill pick and roll player. And that makes a lot of sense. Dennis Smith there, but they've been really attached to Ntilikina, and that's why I have him there. So I think.
Do we believe this though? When they do, they've been really like the Celtics love Fultz, and meanwhile they're trying to trade down.
Yeah.
The Celtics, we love Fultz. Fultz is the best guy. Hey, who wants our pick?
It's hard to know what to believe and what not to believe. This time of year is very difficult. Very difficult.
I don't believe anybody or anything. I think they should take Dennis Smith if he's there.
If he's there.
But let's say the top 8 goes with the actual best 8 guys, and everybody's gone, and now it's like Markkanen, Donovan Mitchell, Kennard, John Collins, all these guys. Then what do you do?
So, Fultz is
Do you
off the
take
board.
Markkanen?
Tatum, Ball's off the board. Fox, Isaac, Jackson.
The real top 8 is
Smith.
off the board.
Okay. And
Yeah, they're all
Monk
gone.
Is off. So Ntilikina is the best available. Mitch, Anunoby, Mitchell.
Oh, yeah,
Anunoby,
I forgot about him.
Okay.
Frankie Smokes or Markkanen?
Yeah, okay. I would take still Filthy Frank, 9th spot.
I'd take Frankie Smokes as well.
I'm a big fan.
He could be the next Dante Exum.
He could be. Dante Exum's not done getting better though. I'm not ready to give up on Dante Exum.
Okay.
There's a chance he is Exum.
Can I sell you my stock?
I'll buy it.
Danny Chow has a lot of stock too. Go over to Danny Chow's office.
The stock for Dante Exum's pretty low right now. Maybe now's actually the time to buy.
Not where Danny Chow bought it.
Okay, I'm not.
Danny Chow is just, he went all in.
Well, we might as well hang on now, right?
Yeah. All right, number 10. Who's the 10th pick?
Sacramento.
I can't read the logos.
Sacramento.
Oh, yeah, the 10th pick. So they'll take.
So,
See-
well, they got Fox at 5 in the mock. So here at this spot, I have Zach Collins in the mock draft, but at the same time, like I wouldn't do that pick. I'd still be looking for like a home run swing, like OG Anunoby, Ford from Indiana.
He's not going that high. He's going to sit out the whole year, right?
Maybe. I mean, I don't think Sacramento would do that, but it's what I would think about doing.
They do have their pick next year, right?
Yes, they do. Yes.
So that would
Yep.
be a reason to do it.
I believe so.
What I don't want them to do is take another power forward.
Yeah, that would be,
Sacramento, stop taking power forwards.
yeah.
Just
I mean,
stop. Don't take
that's-
anybody who has to play near the rim.
How about Luke Kennard for them?
No. You know
who?
you know
Like
my rule on.
so that's where it's getting. So it's like now we're at Lowry Markkanen for Sac. Let's say they get Fox at 5, are you taking another guard with Mitchell? No, you're not. Anunoby? No, because he's injured. You don't want Kennard. So Markkanen, you don't want him. You don't want Zach Collins. So then it's
Well,
like,
if they didn't take a point guard yet, then you take Donovan Mitchell. I think.
yes, and that's the appeal. That's why I'm thinking Isaac at 5 if I'm Sac. And I don't think they're going to do that, but it's what I would want to do.
You know my rule on combo guards.
What's that?
It means that they can't play their position that well.
Yeah,
You're a combo guard. It means
I don't know.
I'm a combo guard.
I don't know.
Are you a point guard? No.
The league has changed.
You're a
though.
shooting guard? Not really. What are you? I'm a combo guard.
the league
I'm
is-
Rodney Stuckey.
The league has changed, though, Bill. The league is totally different
Combo
now.
guard.
I wrote a whole thing about that on Donovan Mitchell, how he is a combo guard.
Yeah, but at least he
it's
could play point guard.
Yeah, he can. And he can play 2 guard, too.
Grievous Vasquez, combo
Okay,
guard.
So combo guard, what would you define Mitchell as, then? Just a basketball player?
Better than a combo
Is he
guard.
just one of those guys where he's just a basketball
Combo
player?
guard is a word we use when somebody's not that good and we don't know how to classify
This
them.
is the issue with positional definitions. Because
Right.
Mitchell, you could say he's a guard, he's 6'3", but it's like, no, this guy's super long and he's built
You
strong.
know who's a combo guard? Terry Rozier.
Okay, that
Combo guard.
Okay, potentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's looking that way right now.
Yeah, he's a combo guard. What is he? I'm not happy when he's at either position.
I'll tell you what. I think Mitchell's going to be really good. He could be the.
I like
steal.
Mitchell
He
too.
could be the steal this
But
year.
I think he's better than a combo guard.
Yeah,
I actually think he could be the point guard in offense.
He's one of those guys who's a basketball player.
Yes.
And the defensive end can defend multiple positions. Offensively, he can hit spot up threes or he can create for you off the dribble. He's really, really good, and another high character kid too.
And he's approved by Haley O'Shaughnessy, right?
Yes.
Although that doesn't take much because he went to Louisville.
Yes.
But still, I think if there was any red flags, she would at least
we
bring
know
them
about
up.
it. Thanks, Haley.
All right, just quickly, we'll go through the rest. Number 11 is who? I can't read this. I couldn't print out the
11,
ringer thing.
Charlotte.
I'm looking at Draft Express, which
Charlotte.
the logos are so tiny. Charlotte.
11. They're in a very
Tate,
very
who do you
interesting
want?
spot.
They're going to take Rab.
Tate says they're going to take Ivan Rabb. That would be early.
Don't
Do it.
Yeah,
I think
we're gonna lock up Michael Jordan tomorrow. We're not gonna
let's
let him
all
do
agree that the funniest outcome would be Markkinen.
Yeah, after Frank
Kaminsky, Zeller, Markkinen. That would be hilarious. I would love that.
Markkinen will be. No, I'm not. Markkinen will be doing TV in a couple of years.
Second funniest outcome would be Luke Kennard.
Oh.
What?
Tate's
I
scrambling.
like Kennard. Tate,
No, it's just like
what's,
to have
wrong,
the-
what's wrong with Luke Kennard?
Guy
Besides
from-
the fact he went to Duke.
PJ Dozier is better than him.
PJ Tate says PJ Dozier's better than him. I vote for Luke Kennard to Charlotte. That feels like an MJ pick.
That's what we have.
He
in
loves
the
those
mock draft.
proven fundamentally sound college guys.
Yeah, hey, dude, Kennard's gonna be good. That guy can stroke threes.
12th pick is Detroit.
Yeah, Detroit. Yep, and we have in the mock
I
draft.
think he takes OG here.
I don't know. I don't see it.
Why?
I don't because I feel like based on their personnel decisions in the past couple of years, they're a team that's like pushing for the playoffs. So to wait a year for a guy, unless they're changing gears and they're willing to wait on a high upside player,
My guess is they're changing gears.
then it should be a guy like Anunoby. That would be my choice.
Let's say they didn't change gears. Then it's like a Justin Jackson type pick.
Well, here's the thing, Bill. In the mock on the ringer, the guy who falls to this spot is Dennis Smith. There's gonna be somebody who falls.
Did we have anyone take him yet?
No, not in the ringers mock draft.
No. What about the pod we're doing right now?
I mean, yeah, I think we had Smith in a couple different spots, like as a
Dallas.
potential.
I
Dallas.
don't think he gets by Dallas. The ceiling's too high.
Well, what if Frank's there though too?
I think they take Dennis Smith. Cuban wants a home run swing
So
with that pick. It's his one chance to get a lottery pick.
Sure, but if you're Rick Carlisle and you're asked your opinion, like, hey, who do you like? I think if you're Rick Carlisle, you're looking at Dennis Smith and you're thinking, this guy doesn't defend, doesn't try on the defensive end of the floor. I don't want to deal with that. I think that whereas Ntilikina could come in right away, and he's just a badass on the defensive end. That's why I call him Filthy Frank. That guy is filthy on that end.
I think
of the
Rick
floor.
Carlisle would be like, I don't like the country of France. Take the American.
Maybe.
Where was Roddy Boubois from? Wasn't he France? They're going to take another French guy?
I don't know.
He
where he's
was.
from.
He was French. Don't take another French guy, Dallas. Take Dennis Smith. It could be fun. They'll
Yeah,
throw him
he is
alley
French,
oops.
yeah. And then 13, we have Denver there.
Oh, Denver's in a fun spot because they already have everybody. That's the team that can just take OG.
That's
Yeah.
why I love OG for them
Yeah.
because they can afford
Smart.
to wait. They don't even have playing time to give out right now. They have so many players. So OG would be good for them.
That's a smart pick.
red shirt season for OG
Yeah.
Anunoby.
I like it.
Maybe bring him back in April, but maybe not too.
And we think potentially, if he's healthy, where does he go in this draft? He's 100% healthy.
Honestly, like, I don't even know if he'd go that much higher than he is.
He doesn't crack top 9?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know if he would. I think there's legitimate concerns about his offense. Like, as incredible as his defensive ability is, offense is a big question mark. So I think he'd still hover around in that 9, maybe 8 or 9 behind, like, those Fultz, Ball, Tatum, Jackson, Fox,
Yeah.
Isaac guys. That's where I think he'd go.
So, last pick, 14.
14, Miami. We have Mitchell there in the mock.
Ooh, that would be nice.
I
I hope that doesn't happen.
I don't think Mitchell should last. I think there's a chance that he will.
Somebody's going to fall to Miami, and we're all going to be mad about it because that's how it
what
works
happened
with
with
Miami.
Justice Winslow.
Yeah.
This is the year where somebody's going to fall.
Somebody falls. It's like, oh my God, Miami got Dennis Smith.
There could be one or two guys who fall. If Kennard goes higher than people think, if Zach Collins goes higher, I think Collins is a guy that Miami would target here. But at the same time, we have Collins going 10 in the mock. There's going to be guys who slip in. Honestly, like if I'm Miami, I mean, this is every pick is really a best player available thing, but especially in Miami, it's just about infusing talent.
It's a good team, especially when they had Blake Griffin.
Absolutely, yeah. So no Lowry Markkinen for them. Don't want to draft another forward.
Well, this is something. This is going to be quite a draft. I think the funniest part will be if the Knicks take Markkanen. That would be the funniest moment of the draft,
It would
and
be
possibly
something
my
else.
entire year.
Markkanen will have to deal with an endless list of questions like, how comparable is your game to Kristaps Porzingis?
I hope that doesn't happen, and I hope they take Monk. But
And it's not comparable
it would
that
still
much
be
at all
funny.
for what it's worth.
KOC, we can see you on the Ringer all week. Hear you on the Ringer NBA show on Friday with Jarks. Hopefully we figure out the phone, whatever happened, and we'll look for your stuff all week on theringer.com, especially if there's more stuff going on. I don't think Paul George gets traded before this draft. I think it'll happen
After free
in
agency,
July.
yeah.
After free
Mid-July.
agency. It'll
Mid-July.
happen somewhere there. Quickly, we're going to bring in Kevin Clark, Magic fan, right now. All right, last thing. Kevin Clark, Magic fan. I thought of all the non-lottery teams, Charlotte was the saddest team being left out this week of this crazy NBA carousel, and then they traded for Dwight Howard, your old friend. So
It makes them sadder, right?
yeah, it makes them a lot sadder. But of you love the Magic. The Magic are sitting sixth. Is there anyone that you have your heart set on?
No, I mean, obviously Isaac would be huge for us. Kevin O'Connor thinks that's the best fit. I love it. I mean, I think any of these guys, I keep viewing the Magic like I view the Cleveland Browns. They just need talent. They just need it. It's not like they're building anything. They have nothing.
You just want an asset.
Blow it up. Blow it up. I mean, just like you can
You're
trade.
preaching to Kevin's choir on that one. The other Kevin.
You can trade Vooch. You can trade Elfrid Payton.
Yeah.
Why are we not package? I would package all the young assets and try to get something for it because we know there's 30 GMs. 5 to 10 of them are just completely clueless.
Yeah.
So you just package some of these allegedly good young players, Vooch, Hazonia.
I don't think
Elfrid
anyone likes
Payton.
those players.
I mean, I just try to get something for them because they're not valuable. Vooch is valuable, maybe. Fournier is.
I think you're Dennis Smith waiting to happen.
I know. Fournier, maybe
Give him the
you
car
package
keys
him.
to a series of 28 and 54 teams, and he's
I
going to put up
said-
big stats.
I said last
He'll win
week.
the dunk contest.
You asked me who I wanted last week. I floated Dennis Smith, and you were very low on that.
Still am. I think if the goal is to just continue to go 28 and 54, I think he's the pick.
Yeah, I mean, maybe one of these guys. I think. I think the order seems to be set with the top 5, so being at 6 is extremely
You
bad.
have your run of the mill. It's like having pick 33 in the NFL draft.
Right, exactly.
You have that whole day to think about it, basically.
Don't the Patriots always have like every
Yeah.
pick between 33 and 40? So you know what that's like.
Why didn't you trade for Dwight? Bring
That's
him
a
back.
great question. I think Rob Hennigan, if he had another year, may have done that. Because I think he just, we'd be in job preservation.
Funny.
mode.
It would have been the funniest outcome for everybody.
I don't know. Has that ever happened where someone poisons a franchise so much and then
He
comes
quit on
back
the
to
city
it?
and then came
Yeah.
back?
I mean that's a big thing. There's
LeBron James.
There's still
LeBron
I mean, I
James.
guess
Tate
LeBron
yells
James.
in the background.
LeBron James.
Right.
But no, I mean, I guess that's. But LeBron came back when he was still good.
You could have given up Vucevic and one of your bad contracts. For who's
Here's
your
the
worst
problem.
contract?
Oh God! Now, I mean, we got rid of them all.
Oh, yeah.
Channing Frye was 2 years ago. Was our last.
I guess
bad
so. Maybe
contract.
make them give you the.
We have a lot of good contracts.
You could have gotten the 31st pick in Howard for Vucevic.
Yeah.
And then
I mean-
Howard would have immediately retired because he wouldn't have wanted to go back. Then he
Fournier's-
saved $15 million.
Fournier's on a good deal, so I don't think there's anybody. There's any real
Is it a
problem.
good deal? Would you call it a good deal?
We're not
Pay him
overpaying
$18 million a year
We're
is a
not
good deal?
overpaying him. I think Dwight Howard would have been a disaster in Orlando. I think it's not a LeBron situation because he's so much worse than he was 4 years ago.
What franchise would you not trade places with?
The Kings?
I'd rather be the Kings.
I don't know.
They have at least 5 and 10. And they have Buddy Hield. And they have Cauley Stein.
It's pretty low. I mean, I don't know.
Would you trade places with Detroit?
Would we get Stan Van Gundy back?
No, I'm saying you just literally
Rosters.
trade franchises, everything.
Yeah, probably. I mean,
You would rather be the Pistons.
I don't. We don't have anything. None of these guys are going to help us win. So we have nothing.
Would you rather be the Hornets?
Maybe. I mean, I don't know.
Would you rather be Brooklyn?
No. Are you
KFC's
saying
laughing.
Just because they have Russell now?
I'd rather be Orlando than Brooklyn. I'd rather be anyone than Brooklyn.
I agree with that. Everybody else. I mean, I think you're over. For me, the Magic just need to blow the whole thing up. There's no maybe Vooch is like the 8th guy on a championship team at some point, but right now
I don't think he even plays in the finals.
he loses his rotation spot in the second round.
I think he's waving a towel. Aaron Gordon maybe could have played for 11 minutes until everyone just left him open and he just missed
Gordon
threes.
needs to make an extreme leap in order to be a starter on a championship team.
So you would trade places with everyone except for Brooklyn? Mm-hmm. Charlotte?
I think that's a fair trade. Charlotte for Orlando.
Charlotte for
That's a trade. That's a like for like trade.
Detroit, you would not trade places
I
with.
don't think so. No, their only good asset in Orlando's eyes is Stan Van Gundy.
And weirdly, Sacramento.
Yeah, I don't know.
You wouldn't trade with Sacramento.
I view them on the same wavelength as the Magic. I think there's a definite sort of bottom 5 or 6 of the NBA, and the Magic are on it.
Would Belichick have traded down from 1 to 3 and picked up the Lakers Kings pick?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. That's why I defend the trade.
And then Belichick would have taken Dwight Howard and won a
Belichick would
championship
still
with
go.
them.
He'd still be going backwards.
He
would get 5 and 10, then he would flip 5 into 8 and something else, and he would just have 40 picks.
If Dwight Howard were in the NBA, Belichick would sign him right now and try to make him a Pro Bowler. That's the kind of reclamation project he would try to do.
It would be the ultimate Belichick move.
Yeah.
I can save Dwight Howard.
He would either cut him on August 15th or he would win him a Super Bowl.
True. I mean, we had Chad Ochocinco, we had Tim Tebow. We had Albert Hainsworth.
Albert Hainsworth, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
that is true. He likes the challenge of, oh, really? Dwight Howard's poisoned the last 5 teams he's been on?
Sign him up.
Come on in.
Get him into the Patriot way.
Yeah.
Super Bowl champion.
I think Dwight Howard would fart on the Patriot way.
Yeah, so I'm not optimistic about the Magic's rebuilding chances right now. So I just think what I see for Thursday is just getting some asset that we can put maybe alongside Gordon and build towards the future.
All right, we have to go.
Okay.
Thank you. All right, thanks to the Kevins, O'Connor and Clark. Thanks to Carvana. Browse, buy, trade in, and finance your next vehicle online from the comfort of your home. Choose as soon as next day delivery or pick up your vehicle from the world's first coin-operated car vending machine. Waive bye-bye to buyer's remorse with their 7-day money-back guarantee. Go to Carvana.com/BS. Carvana.com/BS for the new way to buy a car. And thanks to Simply Safe, rest easy knowing that your home and Kevin's home are protected with Simply Safe when you install your Simply Safe home security system. You're arming your home with powerful sensors that actually tell you if a door opens or if a window breaks. Please don't spend another night second-guessing your home's safety. Go to simplysafebs.com. Get a 10% discount when you order today. That's Simply Safe with 2 eyes. Don't forget, I am on Against All Odds with Cousin Sal if you want some NBA draft props. Kevin, you like my thing about O'Connor's back, by the way. Do you like 3 Kentucky guys getting drafted minus 400? That would put Bam
in the lottery.
No, in the first round.
Yes, I do. I think Bam will go.
Bam's in the first round, right?
Yeah, Bam will go in the first round.
That was my lock of the week on Cousin Sal's podcast, so check that out. And then we are back Friday, post-draft, mega podcast, me and Joe House, making fun of everything that just happened, and maybe even hopefully congratulating a couple teams. Enjoy the rest of the day. We'll see you on Friday.